Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to another edition of Sour Graps. I'm your host, Alex Pulowski, and tonight, everything doesn't suck. With me, as always, is Kate. Kate, how much of Celebration by Kool and the Gang do you think I could play on the show tonight before we get demonetized?
I believe it's 12 seconds. And then, but I think if we just sing it.
If we just sing it, we'll be fine. They won't.
I don't think they can do anything about that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to give it a shot?
Celebrate, chase you is gone.
Do. There's a party going on right here.
It's the Sour Graps party. It's your NXT post-show party for Tuesday, November 19th. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats, leave a thumbs up on this video. And I'm just gonna, because we ask so much of you, I'm just gonna keep telling you what to do. So put up your Christmas decorations if you celebrate. It's time. We're officially in late November. We're not waiting until Thanksgiving. Okay? Pick up my dry cleaning while you can. I got a white shirt that's a little yellow. It could use some love, so just if you could do that. But more importantly, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. A big Danhausen update that happened earlier. Some clarification around the Speedball Mike Bailey situation. Sounds like he's technically under contract until the end of the year with TNA, but he was able to talk to other companies in that time period. So much more on the way on FightfulSelect.com. Stay subscribed over there. Best $5 in the biz. And do you want the privilege of voting in the Fightful Awards, huh? Don't you?
Yeah. You do.
Don't you? You got to be a subscriber for that. So subscribe to Fightful Select so that you can vote for one of whatever 7 Will Ospreay matches will be up there for best match of the year and chase you as your stable of the year because it's gone now. So
how about dead stable of the year? Because that's they won because they're dead now. They're gone. They're gone forever.
I wish the Learning Tree were in competition for that, but they're still very much alive, which is
they are
sad.
Judgment Day also should be in the running for that. They're still very much alive, at least for the time being.
If we had our own should be dead stable of the year, would be like a hot category on like the Sour Graps
as hot as the Sour Graps Hater of the Year award, because that's got some nominees.
It sure does. But that's mostly just like us. We're the best haters in all of wrestling.
Right. But that's why we're ineligible because we work here. That's why the award is named after us, or it friggin' should be, Sean Rossap.
Yeah, Sean. I love yelling at Sean. This had a little bit of everything on it, Alex. This had some good. This had some bad. This had some weird.
It had some great turned into bad.
Correct. It had some stuff that should be good if it wasn't preceded by bad. It had everything. It had everything you could want in an episode of wrestling television, and we're going to get into all of it.
It had plot holes that were so numerous in a man's argument you could strain pasta through it. That's how many holes were in the argument of a man tonight. So, like,
you know how nobody can pronounce luchadors' names on television, and people will call Commander. You have Contender, like with the with all the little holes in it.
That's right. So they told us to start the night. They gave out. Now this is okay. So our wonderful Lieutenant Photo in the Sour Graps Discord.
Thank you for your service.
There's no way they dressed the entire audience in Chase U shirts to just have Chase U not win this match. And I was like, but what if they just got rid of all their inventory at the warehouse because they know after tonight these shirts will not be able to be sold because the faction will no longer exist. So they just gave them out for free to the entire paying audience. And it turns out I was right. And that's great. But it was very silly to have the amount of editorializing on the part of Vic Joseph tonight of we all love Chase U. We will all be so sad if Chase U ever leaves us. Please don't leave us, Chase U. I am on pins and needles just at the thought of not having Chase U in my life. Literally all night long. And I just was Vic, you can't speak for everybody. You have maybe for the most part. In his
defense, he speaks about 93% of people. It's mostly you the most, and me, half and half.
It's me the most. But I have no problem acknowledging I am the most happy about Chase U being done. But there compared to this time last year, there are a lot more people that are like, what are we doing? This isn't doing anything anymore. This has completely run its course. How has this faction been going on so long? When you point out to objective observers that this faction has been going on twice as long as the Shield was active, they go, hold up, that's crazy. This faction shouldn't be alive that long.
So, yeah, I think it went really hard from a matter of taste and not liking it and some of the booking not making sense to what are we doing with this stable in its entirety. That pivot happened. And also it's November, so we're not getting any more juice out of the calendars. So it's time.
Think of the people that'll be so forlorn when they bought the Sexy Coads calendar back in February and they're going to flip over from November to December, who is, I don't know. I'm almost going to guarantee you it's somebody who doesn't actually attend Chase U. Remember how we found out that Big Ange was apparently a student at Chase U, even though she definitely wasn't, because she's one of the people in the thing? So they're flipping over, and it's going to be Brinley Reece for some reason. And they're going to go, oh my God, this is the last month I get a look at the Sexy Coeds from the calendar that never should have existed.
That'll probably be it. The calendar's gone.
Paul Elizabeth, your father, says, another Tuesday night and everything sucks as 2024 winds down. Here's to the best team, the best supermod, and all the rest of the SGS. Soon we celebrate the first Thanksgiving, when the Pilgrims gave thanks to W. Pringle for a bountiful harvest.
That is true. Open your history books. Learn something, okay? My dad rules. He's helped me out so much this week. I love him.
Yeah. So, in honor of Chase U, and also honor of something else very stupid tonight, it's college puns. College puns. The name of a college, things you would see at a college, thoughts that evoke collegeness. There you go.
University.
So, Nathan Frazier versus Eddy Thorpe is the first qualifying match for the Iron Survivor, and almost immediately upon the match starting, all the other tag teams stood around the ring, and you were like, we know how this ends. A brawl happens. And because Nathan Frazier is one of the people that they wouldn't like, it's as likely as not for sure that he will be the one to take the pin because interference by the other tag teams.
Yeah, of course.
And I guess Swerve, because they just had Eddy Thorpe lose. Like the entirety of everyone in the tag division, all the tag teams that Ava had a little she had a meeting with them in conference room B last week, and was like, you guys, I need you guys all to step up. And they heard step up, and they all uniformly, unilaterally, unanimously heard step up as let's brawl with each other where it's not appropriate to do so. And so they did that all last week. And in the intervening 7 days from last week, when it was a serious problem, to this day, apparently Ava didn't send out an email where she BCC'd everybody in the tag division is like, let's keep that to a minimum this week, guys. She didn't do that. And so they were like, hey, since weren't told not to do that by our boss, let's do it again. Who says no? Anybody? Great. I'll meet you out there during this match. And they were all standing out there until at one point Gallus is out there jawing with Honk and Tonk. And Axiom is out there to support Nathan Frazier. And then the fists start flying. And there's a huge brawl. Everyone's brawling on all sides of the ring. Nobody gives a damn. Like, you have all these security guys. They don't come out for the longest time to do anything. Officials, whatever. It's just Nathan Frazier and Eddy Thorpe are still fighting. And then eventually it spills to the outside when Nathan Frazier does a dive that nobody catches. And then Eddy Thorpe goes out there, hits him, rolls him back to the ring, punches Axiom in the mouth, and then gets back into the ring to lose the match. Now, remember the details of what happened at the end of this match. When later I tell you what Eddy Thorpe's side of this is, because they do not match.
Not even close.
No.
Is my internet being dumb? Do I have to switch mics again?
I mean, it's just a little choppy, but
medium dumb.
Yeah, medium dumb. Like
okay, we'll keep an eye on it.
Like straight C minuses. Like,
okay,
you know.
If it gets worse than this episode of NXT, I'll switch mics.
Okay.
That's the rule. Because this had some good stuff too.
Okay.
This was not one of those. So, absent of the rest of the show,
right,
there were things in this match that I liked.
It was a great match up until the wonky, crazy finish that was so predictable.
Nathan Frazer just running ropes is a sight to see. Like a sight to see.
He of the blurry boys, he is by far the blurriest.
I would say he's definitely blurrier. Definitely blurrier than Axiom. But also like Nathan Frazer winning here makes sense in the idea that we felt like this is Eddy Thorpe's time to turn heel. So him punching Axiom in the mouth lines up with that, him losing this match. Like the standard with NXT does not often follow.
Yeah.
Somebody turns heel based on consequences that happen to them in the ring and also how they're being treated backstage. We oftentimes just get they're a heel now. So to my delight, there have been justifiable reasons for Eddy Thorpe to turn heel. And I think that is neat. What happens later, we will discuss. We can discuss it now if you want, but
no, I don't because again, it's very important to remember when it happens in the episode.
That is fair.
Also the state of Eddy Thorpe when he comes in to shoot this scene. So
yeah, I will also say there is part of me that is just bummed that we won't be seeing. Absent of any character trajectory, that we won't be seeing Eddy Thorpe in the Iron Survivor match, because I think he could do some really cool work in that. But I also think he's a great wrestler, so he could do whatever he wanted.
Okay, so how many people have qualified so far in the men's division? Javon Evans and one other one from last week, and I don't remember who it was.
Who qualified last week?
Because were there two women's matches last week? There were three qualifiers. Wesley. So Wesley, Javon Evans, Nathan Frazier. That is a speedy flippy-do. That is a flippy-do Iron Survivor so far.
That is.
Okay. We know of, and I won't talk about it now, so don't give them the details. We know of one more qualifier for next week. We know who's in it. So that will make 4. We also know after tonight, 3 of the women, and there's one more named for next week. It's very possible we have one of those, everybody who lost their qualifier is in a big scrum, and the winner of that, the last chance qualifier, is what they call it.
Yes.
We have not, on either gender, we have not been given another qualifier between two. We still may, but they haven't told us who those people are yet, if that's in case. So
yeah, and I would say as well that looking at the women's side, that feels likely based on some of the losses that we had with Jada Parker, Core Jade. Like, there's a lot of people that have lost that feel like they could very easily step back into that.
Yeah.
So,
so it's interesting if they do the last chance qualifier. Do you remember what the determination of who was in the Iron Survivor match the first year was?
Oh God, was it a combine to get into the qualifiers?
It wasn't a combine to get into qualifiers. It was just a bunch of old retired wrestlers who sat around with Shawn Michaels and said, "I think this person should be in it."
I do, because it was egregious, because they literally said wins and losses don't matter, but just the vibes feel like they should be in it.
Vibes, basically on vibes alone, who should be in this? And then they were like, somebody's like, I think Axum should be in it. Well, I'm sorry, he's not cleared. He wrestled again later that night. He's not cleared, and then he was cleared for a match later, but he wasn't cleared to be in the Iron Survivor or whatever it was, whoever it was. It was Tony D. But anyway, the second year, it was a bunch of other retired wrestlers doing something on Zoom where they were like, I think this person and this person are both great. And then they had a match against each other, and the one of the two got in. They had all the qualifiers. Now it's like, hey, I would like to be in that, please. And like, all right, fine. I hadn't thought about who should be in this match. It's only one of our biggest matches of the year, and I haven't been considering who all the possible people should be up until 2 weeks from the friggin' show. So, yes, you could be in a qualifier for it, but now there's going to be a last chance qualifier, perhaps. So I would just say, from here on out, pick a way that everybody gets into the Iron Survivor, and then do that every year, because this is very arbitrary among all the years.
I would say qualifiers are a good way to do it rather than a vibes panel.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But vibes panel is the least of the good things, but yes. Yeah. So there was an Andre Chase segment where he was rallying the troops for his own match.
Yes.
Which he was like firing up people who weren't actually going to wrestle. But yeah, so that's fine. It made me more resolute in my hatred for all things Chase U, because they even showed later there was a separate vignette, or as you call it,
Benya.
There was a separate one of those later in the night where he was still firing up a captive audience that wasn't actually wrestling for him. But
yeah, but it's like, it's a pep rally. You got to get people pepped.
But you usually pep the people who need to be pepped. If you yourself need to be pepped, you don't pep yourself. Other people pep you. But that's not, Pep U is a different college.
That's a different university. Yeah,
it's a different
that's
college.
Pepperdine.
Pep U is a different college. The dean of students, Dr. Pepper. So they also showed when he was the asshole at the beginning of Chase U. I was like, why do we like this guy now? He was horrible, swearing at all of his students, throwing binders at them and stuff. And all of a sudden, the 300 rubes in the audience were like, we like him now. And we all just had to go along with it. So, yes, more resolute am I now than I ever have been in the fact that this college needs to be burned to the ground, metaphorically. So, it was awful. It was just that they were doing a whole, remember this time and this time and this time, there was also a guy, tall fella, young, long, stringy blonde hair. We're not going to bring him up, though. He was a major, major deal at the beginning of this university, but we have memory hold him entirely. Little flashy thing from Men in Black to you and you and you. None of us remember his name. We will never speak of him again. All the footage of him has been scrubbed from the internet, so it's fine. Yeah, this was all just ridiculous to me, especially because I was so sure that there was no way he was winning. There might have done the double DQ thing or the double count out thing to get to a triple threat, but there's no way he's winning.
I figured you would have liked this because it felt indicative. Like if you're looking back on the good times, you're he's losing. So I thought you would have liked that. That just cemented that further.
Listen, I liked that the thing existed because it indicated to me that the good thing was going to happen. However, the thing itself was not good to me.
Fair.
So
fair.
Yeah. Julia had a vignette or a
vignette.
And it was really great about how she wanted to, she was not only it was done partially in English, partially in Japanese. And I love that they're allowing people to speak in their actual language that they speak. I think that's great. It hurts me though, because so many of these things I just listen to when I'm away from the sightline of the TV, and then I got to go back and rewind it and be like, okay, that's kind of what I thought you were going to say. But it is difficult for me, and honestly, everything should be tailored to my needs.
Of course,
obviously.
Yeah.
So this was a really good little video package for her, but it leads to an interesting little development here, where at the end of this, it's Kalani. I don't understand. Like when we see random people watching the TV together, I need the scene before this where they all happen to be in the same room, because Kalani Jordan is there with Robert Stone and Stevie, and he's like, "All right, well, if I'm going to get back on track, I got to test myself against the best. You guys have Pole with Ava, right? Yes. Well, I want Julia next week." And it feels late in the game to be determining who Julia's opponent in the Iron Survivor qualifiers is going to be. But Kalani Jordan versus Julia, Kalani's definitely losing that.
Yeah.
Right? Of the three new girls, Julia felt like the cinch to me to be in the Iron Survivor. So her not and the other two being in it would be weird. But Kalani going from being the champion to like a losing streak where she has to prove herself is at least giving her a character and some motivations behind, I can do gymnastics well, let me show you.
Yeah, I think the only way Kalani wins this is if Julia finds a way to get to the title absent of the Iron Survivor. Like if they're going to build a story between Julia and Roxanne really quickly actually at deadline, but I don't think you want Julia losing that. So I don't think that's the way to go.
Right.
So my guess is Kalani loses. I think, unfortunately, from a character perspective, she's been dead in the water for a little bit. So this could be what I always ask for, what I feel like we both are on the same page of, is losses that matter. Losses that mean something to a character. Ideally, a win and a loss both mean something. It's very easy to do that with qualifiers. Right. That should be the case all over the place. Kalani also losing in a last chance qualifier, I think, could be another thing of just like, damn, I can't buy a win to save my life since I lost my title is a good way to go about it. So hopefully that does something for her.
Right. Ryan Cicchini says, Julia promo was great. Her line of fighting for wins will be the difference between her and Kalani. Hopefully it shows Kalani she needed to hit a second gear. Doesn't need to be a heel turn, just more intensity. I agree. I think that lighting a fire under her ass is a good thing to do. We need I'm trying to figure out exactly who would be a really good one for her to have like a best of 7 with. You know what I mean? Like Carmelo and Andrade, where she's not going to win all of them, but she's always going to look great, and she comes out on top. I just don't know who that heel is because they haven't, unless it's Jada Parker.
I was going to say Jada.
A lot of Kalana and Jada. Maybe it's a thing where like they both. I don't know who's in it if they don't get in it. But if they end up. Yeah, you're right. Cora probably winds up in it. So, like, if they end up fighting and costing each other the last chance qualifier, and then it becomes like, okay, that's it. But the problem with that is that obviously Jada, for some friggin' reason, isn't done with Lola Vice yet. So Jada can't move on to Kalani so soon, which she friggin' should, but she won't. But if she could, I'd love the idea of Kalani and Jordan building Jada, building not Kalani and Jordan.
Kalani and Michael Jordan just hooping.
Kalani and Jordan, and also Jada and Parker. Will also have fantastic rivalries together. I think you could easily build two really great, and this is the kind of thing, and honestly, it would serve to I think give that edge to Kalani. I'm not saying you got to do the exact thing note for note, although this was now 7 years ago. So in the whole repeating their playbook thing, that's actually a long time between things. If that ended up being what Sheamus and Cesaro were to become the Bar, if Kalani and Jada became like a duo where like they complement each other really, really well, and like Jada gives Kalani some more edge, and Kalani could teach Jada some of the stuff that she does, and they can work together really well. They become like a duo. Honestly, that would not be terrible if you could figure out a way to make that work together. Because Jada also she could be the one who talks for the two of them because she's great. That could be really good, honestly.
That would be a good way to kind of hide Kalani's weaknesses a little bit until they come along further. My only thing is I just have no trust in women's tag wrestling at WWE. Like they've given me no reason to trust it. But your idea is sound. I like that. There's a ton of upside in that. It's a good way to give them time to grow as these new 3 mega talents kind of come in, and we find new places for people. I don't mind that, but you said something like when I look at back in my day, black and gold NXT, and I look at the current landscape, like rivalries are something that is missing. And part of it is because they'll do goofy stuff of like, hey, they hated each other 3 weeks ago and now they're besties. Like they'll just do that.
Yes.
For a plethora of reasons, right? But one thing that does is it undercuts any deeper storytelling. And if you're developing talent, you're gonna want rivalries like that. Like I guess Trick and Mello kind of was. Braun and Trick kind of more realistically was.
Right.
But we haven't had that on the women's side really. Because like Cora and Rox, it's all been ill supported, if that makes sense. Like I don't buy their rivalry because it was like they were tag team champs and now they're not. And it's like, whoa, there's been no time to breathe with anything between the two of them. So there hasn't been that long-term thing. I hope that changes. And I love the idea of doing that with Jada Parker and Kalani, like starting to sow those. They could be like DIY. They could be crossing paths and coming back, and it could be really cool. It could be really cool.
Of course, MD Macaroni is correct. They're going to ignore all this and just have Kalani turn on you people.
Oh, Black Lipstick by next week.
Far more likely that she loses to Julia, loses the last dance qualifier, and then is like something needs to change. And the thing that needs to change is she needs to realize that all you people turned on me. You never believed in me. And then she's gonna do her obligatory now I'm a heel run in NXT before she gets called to the main roster. There you go.
But when we gripe, we also like to offer solutions. So I'm glad that we did.
Right. True.
But Alex, if I had to put money down,
sure,
I would bet that they just turned her heel.
Right.
And I'll tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not going to my local racetrack to put money down on that bet.
No, that would be silly.
No, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, they don't take wrestling at racetracks.
No, I don't think you can even really bet most places on wrestling, but you know where you can?
Where?
Online at AG.
I want to talk to you guys about our great partner at BetOnline AG. Yes, the place that lets you bet on pro wrestling. We've gotten our pro wrestling betting odds from them for years, well before we even worked with them. and we're going to tell you a little bit more about them. They got the earliest lines, the fastest payout, the industry best bonuses. They've been trusted for 25 plus years because of their safe and secure environment and their quick payouts. But you can bet on pro wrestling. How cool is that? If you think you know more than anybody, go ahead and look at those odds. It's the same ones you've seen on Fightful for years. You might see one that sticks out to you and you go, wait a second, there's no way that person's going to win. Why are they an underdog? Make yourself some money. BetOnline AG, and hey, it doesn't stop there. Whatever sports you want, they got you covered. Popular games like blackjack and roulette, Supernova, Skyward, all that stuff. BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can at BetOnline AG.
Speaking of Jada Parker, Stephanie Vaquer versus Jada Parker. There is now, if Jada winds up being in there, she wins the last qualifier, and she's in the match, then none of this really matters. But there is no world in the multiverse in which both Stephanie Vaquer and Jada Parker should not be in this match. Like, they're absolutely two of the top 5 women who aren't the champions in NXT. So
I would say too, like, you have to find places for the people that aren't the big 3. And I also still don't understand the booking of Roxanne getting pinned twice. Like, why did we do that?
Then go on vacation. Wouldn't that like be some kind of urgency? Wouldn't Ava, like, listen, I don't think she's not writing the scripts, but like in kayfabe, Ava's terrible at her job, and she's like 23 years old or something, and it's like, here you are in charge of NXT now. You do all the booking for it because you have so much experience in this field. Like, because she has no experience, wouldn't the leash be a little shorter on all the mistakes she is making? Because you watched your women's champion get pinned in tag matches by 2 different women, and she's not defending the title on the pay-per-view. I don't know. That feels weird to me. You know, like, it feels like that's a mistake.
It's very weird that we have these absent champions from PLEs. Like, the Survivor Series just doesn't have Cody Rhodes on it, which is very weird. Roxanne is a more important champion than Trick. I don't think that's fair, but she is. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. It is very weird that she's suddenly absent, unless you, like you said, perhaps she's banged up or something. But it doesn't feel that way. Doesn't feel that way.
So Stephanie Vaquer and Jada Parker had a really, really great match.
They really did.
She's too good at this for how long she's been doing this. One of those
breakout star, full 9 yards.
Yeah, and you're looking at her going like, okay, so now you're gonna do something with this, right? You're making this right. You're gonna, like, what you're not gonna do is put her in a protracted feud that goes nowhere, right? You're gonna trap a rocket to her ass. Since she has a claim to having won the feud from last week, you get her the hell up out of that, and you strap a rocket to her, and you have her lose the Iron Survivor by 1 pinfall. Like, she's in the lead going to the final minute and then loses. And then, okay, all of a sudden now, whoever beats Roxanne, Jada's right there coming after her, always nipping at her heels. I don't know if she ever gets to be women's world champion NXT, but she's definitely got a reign with the North American title. And then she gets to the main roster, sky's the limit. So that's what we're doing, right? If you put her in the ring with Stephanie Vaquer, who is, if you said, I think she's the greatest women's wrestler in the world right now, I couldn't argue with you. She's amazing, and Jada Parker had so much less experience and gave her everything she could handle. Great match. And then you just have Lola Vice walk out holding a brick and stand at the bottom of the ramp, not do anything, and then you have Jada Parker just walk into a finisher and lose. At least she didn't get her schoolboy roll-up, but I think they wanted to make Steph look better than that. Lola, you lost a hardcore match because somebody hit you in the face with a weapon. You do not get to be pissed about that. That's the match you signed up for. It's not like there was a It was a regular match, and the ref didn't see her hit you with a brick, and then she pinned you. It was a hardcore match where weapons were legal. You were using them the entire match yourself. You don't get to be pissed about this, Lola Vice.
It was at the ECW arena of all places. I mean, my God, if anywhere you're going to get smashed in the face with a brick. It is embarrassing to be a women's wrestling fan the past week and a half or so. I'm sorry. This isn't exclusive to women's wrestling in WWE. They do this with the men also. Yeah. But this is embarrassing that you would be distracted by somebody holding a brick, that you would forget you're in a qualifying match to move on to the Iron Survivor. They have so much talent. I think they're booked better than the men probably, and it's still embarrassing to be a women's wrestling fan this week because she looks like an idiot. On Raw, there was no women's match last week, and don't get me started with the bullshit that we saw in AEW. Just tit shaking both nights. It is embarrassing. Embarrassing to be an AEW women's wrestling fan and a WWE women's wrestling fan this week. It has been rough. Ugly stuff.
I just think you're too hard on women who are proud of their mammary glands. I think that perhaps you should.
I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at that being their only trait. But I mean, Mariah May and Anna Jay put on a banger. But if you tuned into AEW programming this week for the first time, you saw Mina Shirakawa, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, she's sexual and also playful and also an incredible wrestler and all these things." You would be like, "Oh, you know what went viral on Twitter? Not the matches."
No, of course not. Yeah.
But now one of your top stars looks like an idiot because you couldn't come up with a more creative ending. And again, they do this with the men.
Well, there doesn't much. They didn't need to do that since there was a definitive finish. They had been feuding for weeks and weeks and weeks. They finally got a signature blow-off match at the ECW arena where there are weapons involved. There was a special guest referee for no reason. Top stuff. So her hitting her with a weapon to counter a sleeper hold is fully legal, and Lola Vice has no ground to stand on. So when you book her to do this and then also go, Lola Vice, definitely we want to root for her, then you're not doing anything right with this, especially because Jada Parker needs to move beyond it. And I don't know exactly how they're going to do all this, but
the good of
Lola.
this match.
I like Lola. I do not like Lola doing this. It doesn't make it makes her seem less than to me. That she would be upset.
It makes her seem like she is just sour grapes, and we would never be identified with anything even close to sour grapes.
Honestly, the very suggestion that we would be identified with sour grapes.
It is
downright
wrong that someone would suggest
that
audacity,
we are
close.
The temerity.
Grapes.
The unmitigated gall of anyone who might suggest a link between sour graps and sour grapes.
This brand right here? Upsetting. Upsetting. I don't want to harp too much on how dumb the ending was without acknowledging how great the in-ring was. Jada Parker.
That's what makes it so frustrating that you booked that for the ending. You know what I mean? That's the...
I will say, though, a couple weeks ago, maybe over a month ago, you said this new crop is going to have to learn to hang with this incoming talent.
And Jada's done it. She's there.
Jada is like the one, man. She is shining.
Rox is the champ on her way to the main roster. You got the 3 newcomers who are world-class wrestlers who just came in. And right now, I don't think it's even close. Jada Parker's 4. But beneath those 3, Rox I don't count because Rox is leaving. Those 3, Jada's 4. There's no, but she's nobody. There's no 4A.
So Ruka's close to me.
We'll see. She's 5, but I don't think she's a close 5 to me. I really like her, but she's not close to. We'll see what she does in the Iron Survivor because she's already in.
If they put her in something meaningful, we need a better test for sure.
Definitely a better test than because she's been off TV for a very long time. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm in a qualifier for this thing now," and she got in. Good for her. I love her, but like, you didn't do anything with her to put her in that position,
bro. Let her surf with Shinsuke Nakamura, bro.
Yeah. Rox is on vacation at a beach somewhere, saying that it's fine. It won't matter who wins because I'm gonna win. Blah blah blah. And then Soul is also there while surfing. Says, "Hey, Rox, it's so funny to see you here. After deadline, after I win the Survivor match, you'll be seeing a whole lot more of me. Goodbye." And I like that they actually did a little bit of that, with her, giving her a little bit of something there. But even though she's going to be fantastic in the match, because she always is, I would think that she would have the least chance of winning that. In the field that we expect to be in there.
Sure.
Maybe more so than Cora Jade, if Cora Jade makes it in the last class qualifier. But I love Soul. You like Soul Ruka feels like you need to like position her to be the one to chase Fallon and beat Fallon.
That feels right.
Like,
that feels right.
Like you could do something. Yeah. So Luis says that WWE should train Jada to become American Shingo Takagi. She is a hard hitter and it rules so much, unlike any wrestler in America in her debut year. It's true. That's just like, she's got to win all kinds of Rookie of the Year awards because she deserves it.
Shingo Takagi most recently lost to Zack Sabre Jr., who I don't know if you know this. He's your IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the whole wide world.
Zack Sabre Jr. College. Let's do some of the puns real quick. Lieutenant Photo says, Ivy Nile League School.
Very good.
Lieutenant Photo says, the undergrad taker. Lieutenant Photo says, final Examerican Nightmare.
Examerican Nightmare.
There you go.
Cody.
Hey, did I pass? No! Okay. Tom LaValle says the learning tree.
It is right there, though I hate it so much.
Ryan Lambert says, time to make those Yay, Chase U is over calendars. Yes.
Alex is going to have just a calendar of fully clothed men celebrating that this angle is over. It's just a bunch of dudes going.
This entire fully clothed,
just dudes in button downs,
long sleeves. They don't even get to roll their sleeves up.
Just hoodies and stuff.
They're all wearing hats. Like some of them are wearing parkas. They are so clothed.
They could not have more clothes on.
No, it couldn't possibly have more clothes on. Insert clever Nixon Newell pun says Nixon knew Alpha Kappa.
Very nice. Very nice.
And Tom LaValle says Phi Beta Captains Sean Dean.
The captain who beat MJF twice.
Did. Chris Barrera says Penelope Fordham University.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
Lieutenant Photo says Chemistry Labadon. Chris Pereira says Georgia Tech or Team 2000.
Oh my God, I love you.
Chris Pereira says Nicholas and Matthew Jackson State.
Very good.
Ellen Jeanette says the Frisk Princess of Bianca Belair Academy.
That was several.
Chris Pereira says Stone Cold Stephen F. Austin State University. Gordon Kevin says, I have to be a homer for my team, Ohio State.
That's very, very nice. Very nice. Respect that.
Pieces says Dorm Mysterio. Dirty Dorm Mysterio. Mayu Iwatani.
Very nice.
And Kenta State University.
Very
Lieutenant
nice.
Photo says Kenny Omega Sci-Fi. Alan Jeanette says Colt Cabana Community College.
Very nice. The 4 C's.
And Alan Jeanette says Orange Cassidy Culinary Institute.
Do you think it's like just a citrus specialization there?
Yes. It's just orange chicken. That's all they make.
Hey, can I? Oh, are we still going? Sorry, if you have more.
No, we're not done. We're good. No, we're good.
I feel like this came up yesterday on Raw, and I'm not done being annoyed by it, so I'm gonna bring it over here.
Okay.
It's like NXT adjacent related.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
I feel like we're probably due for more call-ups soon, right? Royal Rumble, that kind of stuff. I'm stretching.
Usually.
Straight up, I'm letting you guys know I'm stretching to make this relevant to the show.
Okay. Okay, good.
I'm assuming there's going to be call-ups. I'm assuming Rox is going up. I'm assuming Obafemi, etc.
Right.
And that makes me think about the last few rounds of call-ups. What are they not doing with Julius Creed on the main roster? I'm not done being annoyed. I'm not done being annoyed by the lack of Julius Creed on the roster, because here's why. Between Raw yesterday and our post-show last night and today, somebody very nice sent me on social media the clip of Julius Creed having GYV simultaneously in an ankle lock and then just tossing him like it was nothing. And I watched it 9,472 times. That was very specific and inaccurate. But every time I watched it, I was like, how does he not have every championship that Obafemi does not have? If Obafemi has 0 championships, Julius Creed should have all of the championships.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And I am annoyed by that. What are we not doing with Julius Creed? I was annoyed last night, and then I was fine. And then I saw the clip, and I watched it a bunch, and now I'm not fine again. And this isn't a Raw review, so I can't complain about it again in a Raw way. But he hasn't done anything since coming up from NXT, and this is an NXT post show. So therefore, I'm going to complain that they're not doing enough with Julius Creed on the main roster. Thank you for your time.
On the main roster for over a year at this point. Came up in October of last year.
Yeah, it's gross.
Well, November technically, but like he had been called up, but then he had a match on the second week of Halloween Havoc, and then he was up on the main roster.
Alex,
over a year.
Every title.
Well, he should have at least one title.
He should have them all. He should have the 24/7 championship. He should have the Old Divas championship. He should have the Wrestling Society X World Championship. He should be the king of Wrestlelicious.
Yes.
All of them. And the tag team champions 17 times by now.
Yeah. Tony D'Angelo had his match with the Beej. Beej.
Yes.
How long has he been coming out to the dollar store version of Separate Ways by Journey? Because it's got the weird trilly keyboards at the beginning and some guitars, and it really is like, hey, Mom, can we get Separate Ways by Journey? We have Separate Ways by Journey at home. And what it is, it's just like the dollar store version of that at home. And like, that doesn't taste right, Mom.
Someday, like, will find you. Bend those chains that lightly grasp you. It's like, it's a much different feel.
Yeah. Yep. So Tony D struggles a little bit with Brooks Jensen, and ends up winning. Hits him with a I think it was spine buster, I believe it was, to get the victory. I think it's what it was. But then afterwards, I'm trying to be the best way I have to describe Shawn Spears' attire is that he is wearing a sleeveless Steve Harvey coat, because it goes all the way down like past his mid thigh. It like the old Steve Harvey suit. but he took the sleeves off of it. And I just didn't, I don't know what that look is, but he
Name
somehow
a piece of clothing that should have its sleeves ripped off.
So yeah. We got him just coming into the ring after Tony D won with no malice in Tony D. He wasn't doing anything.
No.
He actually seemed to be looking at the beach, being like, "You gave me a good fight, kid." And then Shawn Spears comes in to like shake his hand, and his
honor is real, bitches.
His honor is real. And then Brooks like does a chop block to the back of his knee. And I guess because Luca and Stax were currently fighting the rest of the tag team division in the back, they couldn't be out there to help. So Big Ange is like, "What the hell, dude?" But that's about all we could do with this. That's an interesting plan. I'm going to get my underling to have a match with you, not for the title. And then I am going to, after he loses, which he inevitably will do, I am going to get into the ring and offer to shake your hand, and you will do it for no reason. And then he will chop block you. And then you will be so angry with me for having set up that ruse that you will demand a match against me next week while you're not fully recovered. And it will be for the title. And I will win it because I am a mastermind.
Okay, here's what I don't like about it. It doesn't fully make sense. Match was good. It doesn't really make sense. What I do love about it is that Shawn Spears is very dramatic. Like he's borderline serving C-word in this. Like he is between the outfit and how he's just dastardly and dapperly going about his business. And I feel like as somebody who extravagantly goes about things that could probably be very easily solved, I just appreciate that. And I find it relatable. And I feel like if I was more evil than I was, I too would be doing unnecessarily complicated ruses. But I'm only medium evil, and it really depends on the day.
Right. Yeah. Luis asked, why was Shawn Spears wearing a sleeveless overcoat? I believe it was an overcoat. I believe it was an impeccably tailored suit jacket, like a silk suit jacket. But
I'm devastated to find out that Luis is not wearing that as he's moderating, if we're being so for real.
If it was indeed an overcoat, Luis says, that defeats the purpose of the overcoat in the first place. Why cut the sleeves off the coat? It's an honest it's a question I think that needs answering.
Say it again.
No, I won't. No. He says, why was Shawn Spears wearing a sleeveless overcoat? That defeats the purpose of the overcoat in the first place. Why cut the sleeves off the coat? To show off his guns. I mean, but you know.
Because and they're like, they were in Florida this week, right?
Yeah.
So it fits. You want to look good. You want to wear a suit, but like it's hot and it's humid.
No, I get it. By the way, I'll talk about that in a second. Lexis King is talking to somebody we can't see about, his plight, about how, I'm just trying to be a good guy, and nobody seems to want me to be a good guy, but I don't want to be like my father, which is why I've grown this hideous beard on my face, because he did not have one. And so to distinguish myself from him, I have done this to my visage. And then we pull out and we see this Yoshiki Inamura.
Yes.
He's like, yes, I understand. Thanks for the talk. And he leaves. And then Briggs, old Double Vest, comes up and goes like, What the hell was that all about? I have no idea. NXT is crazy. And then we cut over to all of the. This is now, I believe, a full hour since they were fighting the first time. And they're still fighting in the back. Ava, do your job. Suspend some people. Send them home. Adam Pearce sends people out of the building all the time. That is a thing you're allowed to do. They might find their way back in. Let's be honest, they probably will. But you at least have the ability to say, go out to the parking lot and fight each other there. That's what the NXT parking lot is for.
It's true. There's too much. Too much fighting outside of the ring for my style. Settle it in the ring like a man. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Lexis King. I think we talked about this last week where I said I feel like at no point was he in danger of turning into his father with the heel that he was, which means this swing back around isn't clicking for me. And if he's just trying to be a good guy, there's not been a single character motivation. So I'll tell you what, that is not something that I can get up for. You know what I mean? But if you're having trouble getting up for stuff and you need a little help, we got something that can help you.
You dealing with a nosy mailman all up in your business about what you're ordering, what you're getting? Well, don't worry about it with BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. It ships discreetly. Discreetly. Fortunately for you, because the mailman's going to want to know what's going on. He's going to be delivering that mail to your house. He's going to hear all these sounds. He's going to be like, what's going on there? Well, I don't know because this package doesn't say anything, but I have a feeling the package in there is saying something, and it will be because of BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Helps get you that main event performance and confidence. And you get your first shipment free when you go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL. Like I said, same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but much more affordable and in a chewable. Take their online quiz, and then when approved, it ships straight to your door. My gosh. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Mind your own business, mailman.
Ryan Chikini says,
yeah, man.
Yeah. Ryan Chikini says Inamura is going to get over quick, and he will.
He's great. I went and looked up some more stuff because I'm not the biggest pro wrestling Noah gal. And he's so there you go.
Yes, there you go. So there was. So I don't know if you know this, but the CW has college football games on the weekend.
No.
Yes, and so one of their marquee matchups this week is Oregon State versus Washington State. Now, Washington State's 6-2. They're ranked somewhere in the teens. They're having a pretty good season. Oregon State 4-6. I went to the U of O, University of Oregon, so Beavers stink. They've always stunk. So, now, as a thematic thing to tie in to that, remember how, because CW also has NASCAR, so to tie into the NASCAR thing, they brought a dude who was 26 but looked like Art Anderson, and he smacked a guy in the back with a helmet and caused the terrible finish. And then he danced with Lola Vice for no reason. So to keep up with that corporate synergy, they decided that this big mixed tag match they were going to have tonight, that they were going to be represented by the two sides of this big college football game. Okay? So on one side is Brinley Reece and Dion Lennox. And on the other side is Ashantee the Adonis and Karmen Petrovic. Now, Dion Lennox actually went to Oregon State, had a good career there, and played for a little bit in the NFL. So he went to Oregon State, so he's repping Oregon State. Brinley Reece didn't go to Oregon State, but she's decided to root for them and represent them because her tag team partner this week went to Oregon State. Now, of course, Ashantee the Adonis went to Maryland. He went to Maryland. So him wearing Washington State makes no friggin' sense whatsoever. They told him to, so he is. What Washington State is in like the absolute far-flung reaches of Eastern Washington. Like Spokane is a very long. Spokane's not a big city. It's far away from that. It's way the hell out there. Like there's not a big national following for Washington State. It's very weird that a dude who went to Maryland's like, I'm wearing a Washington State stuff because they told me to. This was a very dumb thing. Also, their interaction backstage, where they're like getting ready, and he says, "You look good in the gray and crimson." That's what he says. She's wearing a gray shirt with white lettering. Nowhere on it is there any crimson. So you look good in the gray and crimson. That's their colors. But maybe if you're going to give him that line, go to figure out a way to put her in an outfit item of clothing that has the colors that he mentions. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Now,
I mean,
this is
she
by
might
far the least objectionable thing about this whole storyline. But is it the thing I'm going to fixate on this week? You betcha.
I mean, she could look good in crimson. Like, I could say, Alex, you look wonderful in a nice aqua. And you're not wearing aqua right now, but it's still true.
But then how would you know?
Because perhaps I've seen you in aqua before.
Oh, perhaps you have. Perhaps you have.
As someone who would absolutely wear rival gear of someone just because I didn't like, if I were going to a Red Sox game as a Yankee fan and they were playing the Mets, I would wear Mets gear. Why? Because the Mets have not won in my lifetime. Not even close, because as you know, I'm 24. But even if I was realistically 37, that would still be true. And I would still rub it in the faces of Mets fans constantly. Yeah. I also, my whole thing with this, I was like, I don't at all buy that Ashantee the Adonis is like, I really care about college football. Like, as a character.
He played for the University of Maryland and was a standout running back. That's where he came from before he became a wrestler. He was a running back who was played for University of Maryland. Good for him. It just doesn't make any sense that he's repping Washington State this week. You know?
Yeah, that actually makes it more egregious if he actually played at a different university too.
Yes.
That's you can't do that. That's a little silly. But
the match
corporate synergy like a mouse.
It is what it is. It is a mixed tag match fought for a dumb reason. And I believe, does Ashantee ask for a kiss on the cheek from Brinley? Is that what he's trying to do on the apron?
Yeah.
And then she slaps him, and then she turns around into being kicked by her best friend Karmen Petrovic, who then pins her. That is how they've decided to do this match. Like he's like, kiss on the cheek, and then she does this to the entire arena before she slaps him, and it was a bit much. Yeah.
Especially, like don't kiss people that don't want to be kissed ever. I'm not condoning that. But like on the spectrum of things, the thing that also is acceptable for my grandfather to do to me socially, like I'm not reacting like that to that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess that's true.
That's why these storylines aren't great.
I guess that's true. I don't want to know what they could have him ask for physically.
That's why this is just a bad idea.
Warrant he'd walk up to her and go like, huh? One of these instead of this, he was.
You know what? I'll put over where I do commentary at Excite Wrestling. One of their heels was in like an angle that involved a woman, and he just got too close to her and like just kind of like not like full on sniffed her, but just got like uncomfortably close, and the crowd was just like, ugh. And that kind of warrants that, because it's like it's skeeving and it's posturing, but it's not actually a thing. Like that worked really, really well, and it really evoked the crowd response. This evoked a cartoonish face.
Jake from Windy City says Karmen and Ashantee are hot. Give them their moment. Now, somebody might give them their moment, but it won't be me because all of this is trash to me. I think they're both fantastic athletes and very good wrestlers. Karmen Petrovic is getting better and better and better. Ashantee Adonis never got the play he deserved. And Hit Row was not just Swerve. The whole act was great in NXT. They were great. Ashantee Adonis had some really good tag matches. He's really fun, really good wrestler. So
I also just feel like Karmen Petrovic. I say this with the disclaimer that I understand this is developmental and you probably want to try and expand all sorts of stuff for characters. But to go from like badass martial arts with a sword to like distracted by the crush that I have that I refuse to acknowledge, like it's just another one of those really jarring character turns where I'm like, I can't buy into who you are now because you've spent so much time telling me you're somebody else. So like I don't love that for her. I do think she needed something more expansive character wise, so I get that aspect of it. But like swing, like that girl's not distracted by boys. She's like, I have swords. I don't care.
I'm going to quibble with you 1 second. It is shing shing, which is the sound that a sword makes. Swing is the stuff that Wayne and Garth do on the couch, and that's a very different thing. Shing is fine. Swing is the stuff we're trying to get away from with this story. There's a little too much swing, and not enough shing.
Had also heard swing used as the sound to describe metal bats in college baseball.
All right.
So be like,
yes, Luis reminding us that he and AJ Francis, formerly Top Dollar, were a really fun tag team in NXT. It's a shame people have seemingly forgotten about that. A damn shame. It is. After the thing, they hug as a celebration of them having won their match, and then they do a high five, grasp hands. Oh, could this be love? And it's disgusting. All the way. Speaking of disgusting, did you happen to catch Booker T's little comment during the match?
I turn him down as often as I can.
Talking with Vic Joseph about Ashantee the Adonis and his penchant for chatting up women and trying to hit on them. He says, "Oh, come on, Vic. These ladies know what they're getting into. These ladies know what they're getting into when they join up. You sign a contract to be an NXT wrestler. It is implied that you will also have to fend off the unwanted advances of many of your coworkers." Is a thing he said on television, and nobody stopped him.
He says like 6 things an episode. How was this one of them? It's like champagne wishes, caviar dreams, cash and checks, the heart of whoever. How is your company is under investigation for sex trafficking? I know the guy is gone. It's still the company that is. Triple H hasn't exactly been lighting up the room with responses about the investigation. So I would say maybe just heed caution on things like it's expected that you're going to have to ward off sexual advances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got Zelta versus Ren Sinclair. The thing that came out of this the most that I need now for the rest of my life, because I won't ever get it, is Zelta versus Charlie Dempsey for the Heritage Cup, because they had a stare down on the outside, and I was like, now listen, you're not allowed to be like, well, it's not okay. I mean, women can't handle themselves in a fight with a man. Zelta could beat most heavyweights without them even trying. Come on. Let's get this done. Have her be the first one to just say, you know what? Screw it. I'm fighting men now. She could. Oh, it would be excellent. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
From my understanding of the Australia scene, I think it's not really taboo on the independents to have intergender wrestling as much in America anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But in Australia, because of the geography and the way things are done, to my knowledge, is especially with PWA, where she did a lot of wrestling out of. There are green label shows, which are the family friendly oriented ones. And then there's the black label shows, which are for an adult crowd, not for an adult crowd, but like for grown-ups, right?
Right.
And those had some really incredible intergender wrestling matches on them from the things that I saw. I got into the Australian scene by seeing Jessica Troy and Zack Sabre Jr. That's how I found my way into a lot of it. And it's just treated so differently over there. And some of the matches that Zelta has put on in Australia, like, yes, I would very much actually not just want to see her fight dudes, see her fight Charlie Dempsey specifically. Like someone of that style would be so incredible. Ren Sinclair is great. She's going to continue to thrive and grow. She's another one that I think has her own alley here in NXT that I think she's going to continue to carve out. And I am just this was to build Zelta to get her into the Iron Survivor, right? So
yeah, but Ren
served its
great.
purpose.
She was figuring out ways of getting pinning combinations and stuff that Zelta had to kick out of. So she looked really good here. And eventually she hits her version of the F5, which is like the old PS2 F5 from SmackDown.
So good.
It was great. It's awesome. It's really impactful. I love it. Ren sold it like $1 million. She gets the victory, and she moves on. That it's going to be really fun watching her in a match like the Iron Survivor. Yes, I hope they don't do the thing that they're definitely going to do, which is have her come in last, have everybody else have at least 3 pinfalls, and she immediately gets 4 within the first minute that she's in the ring. That's what I hope they don't do, but that's what I know they're going to do.
The Iron Survivor, the first year they did it, I was like, there's no way this is going to work. Like the style of it, the rules, it was so convoluted. And then it kind of did. Now that we're at the third one, I feel like the challenge for them in producing it is how do you make them interesting without making them redundant of the patterns we've seen already? Because there's just certain handicaps with the stipulations that you've put on of like, the ending's going to be really exciting because someone's going to come in and get a bunch of pins, or someone's going to sneak one at the last minute because everyone's going to be even or whatever. Like there's only so many paths that you can create to victory, and we've seen a few of them already. So how to make it stand out is going to be something that's challenging. The tough thing with this one is I feel like that's probably the right call. It's just the obvious call and one that we've seen before. So that kind of sucks, but I feel like that's
the exact same playbook they used last year with Lash Legend.
100%.
Lash Legend came in last and was down and immediately tied it. And, you know, like
she was last legend.
She was last legend. Yes. Thank you. Braun Breaker came in last year and immediately went up after doing all that stuff. Trick Williams had been in there for a long time before he went on the ridiculous run where he had like 12 pinfalls in 14 seconds. So yes. Fatal Influence to speak. It's like what the hell they booked this? That they promoted as Fatal Influence to speak. And they came out and Fallon, I guess, to her credit, says I'm going to be a fighting champion. So let's have an open challenge for next week, I guess. And remember how they used to do open challenges in a way that didn't make any sense because they were all very different? I forgot to ask Luis this. He's really good, but at finding these kinds of crazy things out. The last time we had an open challenge, how was it handled? Was it a brawl at ringside? in the first.
Remember, it was like it was in the back. Everyone was fighting to get to the ring.
But that's years ago when they would do different times. But I'm saying is there's no consistency. So it says we're going to have an open challenge, and then the rules of this open challenge are: first person to get into the ring and do your finisher to the current champion gets the title match next week. That's apparently the rules. So out come Last Legend Jakara Jackson, and they say, well, we would like a title match. And then out comes Nikita, who says, you step out because you had you guys had your shot at gold at Crown Jewel. Now I want mine. And then out comes Big Ange, because Big Ange is like, I didn't kill you with a crowbar last week. I tried to, but I must have missed your skull. So I'm going to try and fight you now. And then the entire women's locker room empties out on that side of the arena. JC Jane gets out. Jasmine Nix with all the consonants. She gets out. They're fighting as well. And just Fallon Henley. And then in comes from behind her, Tatum Paxley, who then does her finisher to her. And as such, as per the rules of the contract, she gets the match next week. So we're getting Tater Paxley versus Fallon Henley next week. This was a very weird way of handling all of this. I don't know why all those women decided to fight each other. It didn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm excited for the match because I feel like they're kind of two of the stalwarts that have transitioned through the period of like 2.0 till now. Yeah, this is Sol Ruca answer Jordan Grace's.
Yes. Yeah. Sol just walked into Ava's office. I hear you got a contract. Everyone else is in the locker room warming up for it. Could I sign the contract? And he was like, yeah, sure. And that's how she got her match.
This was the best one, though.
Yes.
Somebody jumping over Von Wagner was the best.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I'm excited about the match, but it is very convoluted the ways that there's just so much brawling. Like all the tag teams are brawling. NXT parking lot is chaos. These gals. But I think what they were trying to do was probably tell you who's going to be in this mid-card title division a little bit. So I get what they're trying to accomplish. My only other thing with this was I felt like this is not... I'm excited that JC Jane's going to be a fighting champion. I think the product needs fighting champions. Yeah. She does not seem like the one. Like she has a whole stable there to prevent her from being a fighting champion. It feels like it's an odd choice.
I'm so in on anybody and everybody being fighting champions. So
sure.
If we're making a new statement now that everybody has to be a fighting champion, then I will co-sign the statement. I just want you to be consistent with it for every title, and also this person who says I'll be a fighting champion and then has an open challenge this week and then won't defend again until January. You know what I mean? Like that's what I don't need. So
sure, it just seems antithetical to a heel who has a whole stable of mean girls. Yes. That seems like all she cares about is holding on to her title. Like she wouldn't want to defend it. So it just doesn't seem like it fits the character, but I'm excited to see people wrestling.
Yes, agreed. The last open challenge was formally answered by Sol against Jordan by signing a contract when everybody else thought they were going to have to fight for it, but they didn't. But the one before then, there was actually a brawl. That was an Ilya open challenge where Javon Evans just jumped in from the other side. And it's like, I'm in the ring now. I guess I get the match. So,
I mean, that was cool as hell. So
it was cool as hell. I suppose we'll have to allow.
I'll allow that
cool
one.
Yeah, I'll allow it for being cool as hell. Okay, fine. Okay, so backstage, Karmen and Ashantee were like, oh my God, so we work so well together. We should become like a forever tag team. Obviously, there's so many belts we can challenge for as being one man and one woman. So we should totally blah, blah, blah. I feel like a total kismet between us. Like, I feel like I've known you my entire life. All this kind of crap. And then Nikita, who's like working her jaw out from the little brawl, walking in the trainer's room and says, hey, Ashantee, still waiting on that text back. And she walks in the trainer's room. And Ashantee turns to Karmen and she's like, oh, I knew it. And she leaves. So I want to understand what you think the sentence structure of, not you, the writers of this line is. Hey, Ashantee, still waiting on that text back, to me signifies a thing that Karmen Petrovic has no right to be upset about.
That was my reaction too.
Nikita Lyons says still waiting on a text back. So she texted Ashantee, who has not yet texted her back. So if he said to her, still waiting on that text back, then Karmen Petrovic could be pissed about it. I don't understand what any of this signifies. She's texting him, but he's not texting back. Seems like he's decided that I'm only going to text back Karmen Petrovic.
And also, girl, you're not dating.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't gone on dates that we've seen.
Yeah. No.
They're not in a relationship.
They're not in a relationship whatsoever.
Who said it was a text about anything flirtatious? Girl, strong, independent women. We are not needy over Ashantee the Adonis. You have swords. I can't stress enough she has swords.
In the indomitable words of Bianca Belair, girl,
There it is. Nailed it.
There is a scene with
Today I learned also not texting back gets you in trouble. That's correct.
Yes. Yeah. So we get Tony D backstage. The trainer's looking at his knee, and he doesn't. He like, stop it. I'm fine. And then Ava's
Tony
in there, like,
Niangelo.
There you go. Thank you. Tony's like, I want Sean. He wants a match. I'm gonna give it to him next week. I'm for my title. Let's do it. And it was like, well, I can't do that for you. Obviously, you need to get checked out. Is he cleared? He won't let me look at his knee, says the trainer. That's because I'm fine. You give me the match. I want the match. Meanwhile, Eddie Thorpe is there trying to talk to Ava and trying to get in a word edgewise, trying to say that there was interference in my match. So I deserve, you gotta reverse the call of the match. And eventually she's like, hold on a second. Tony, if you get cleared by next week, you got your match. And then Eddie Thorpe is like, hold on. This is what Eddie Thorpe thinks happened. Everybody came from, there was a distraction around the ring, and the distraction caused both me and the person I was fighting to be distracted. And as a result of that, he pinned me. And I believe that means that you should reverse the referee's decision. And then she says, no, I can't do that because A, what? And B, that would set a horrible precedent. And he says, fine. There was interference in Tony D's match, and you gave him what he wanted. There was not interference in the match. The thing that happened to Tony D happened after the match was over, and Tony D had already pinned Brooks Jensen. The Beach had already been pinned by Tony D. All of the things that Eddie Thorpe are saying are not only wrong, but they make no sense. And so now he's going to have his heel turn completely unjustifiably. And he's going to come out next week and he's going to say, all you people. And then we're just going to have to watch it.
Has anyone on the show thought maybe if I just go out and get some wins, I can get a title shot?
I guess.
That would be neat if somebody was like, I bet if I go out and get some wins, I can go to Ava and be like, I deserve a title shot based on all the wins that I've recently gotten. Eddie Thorpe should do that. He should chew 8 guys up for lunch and spit them out. And he should say, Ava, I deserve. In fact, it's the Heritage Cup holders, all his friends. I just beat them all.
Here's what he's going to do. He's also going to swear off beat boobs. And now he's going to start listening to hair metal. And then Lexis King's going to be like, you know what? I like the beat boobs now. Because there's certain types of music,
I love beat boobs.
I've been listening to some EDM stations on my Spotify, and actually, I think it's quite good.
I've come around. Turns out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm very fidgety because my dog fell asleep on my foot. I
Okay.
am anchored.
There is an Ethan Page vignette or an Ethan Page.
Vinya.
And he's talking about they do a whole ass package, a whole ass video package on the Iron Survivor. They show highlights from the 2 previous years, and they give you the whole rules and everything. This is what can happen. This is this thing over here. This stuff, penalty box, blah 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 blah. Long thing. And then, I don't know, 5 minutes later, they show Ethan Page basically telling you the rules of the Iron Survivor match. And then saying that, I appreciate him saying this. I know there's nobody on God's green earth that wants to see me get another title shot. But that's too bad, because I'm going to do it anyway. And I at least like that he acknowledges that we're all like, Ethan, buddy, we love you, but until the creative gets better, you shouldn't have any more title shots.
You should just focus on you for a minute. Maybe look at that mid-card title situation. Yeah. Maybe look at some main roster ideas, but it's getting unhealthy with how much you've been around this title. So no, he's great at stuff like that. That's what we love about Ethan Page.
So next week I have a qualifying match. And then we see, I want you to recognize these things happen very, very close to each other on the show. In the trainer's room, Eddy Thorpe comes in, toweling himself off from all the sweat from his match. Okay? He is still in his wrestling togs. He's still wearing his gear from the match. He's toweling off all the sweat. 5 minutes later, there's another scene with Axiom and Nathan Frazier, who you will remember was Eddy Thorpe's opponent in the same match. He is tying his shoes after having gotten dressed from taking a shower. There's so many times in NXT specifically where people will film stuff right after their match. And so they'll still be in stuff and they'll be toweling off because they'll actually still be sweating. But they'll show it on screen an hour and a half later, and it just looks like they've been wandering the halls after losing their match for 90 minutes.
It's so easy to just say earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Air footage.
Yeah.
Easy fix.
Well, this is the thing. Is so Luis says there was an hour from the end of the first match to the segment. Frazier could have gone to the showers immediately after the brawl, LOL. Yes, he could. And I would also argue, so could have Eddy Thorpe. It would be much more for him to walk in with a rolly suitcase on his way out to his car being like, hey, by the way, you got to reverse that match, as opposed to still sweating from the thing. Anyway, Axiom says, I'm facing Ethan Page next week. And Nathan Frazier's like, what the hell? And he's like, well, you got to do it, shouldn't I? And what happens if we both are in the match? Well, then we'll have to fight each other. And I'm like, okay, so this is the most you've done the most ever to make a breakup possible, and this is the team you're not going to break up. I feel like they think
100%.
We're swerving them. All the marks, they don't even know what's coming. And so
it's like the New Day. They're like dissension, and then it's like they're probably not going to break up though.
Axiom versus Ethan Page is going to be great.
Hell yeah, well,
if they do the last chance qualifier, that could be a lot of fun. The problem I have with that is I feel like that's where Lexis King sneaks into the damn thing. I feel like Lexis King sneaks into the Iron Survivor by winning the last chance qualifier, and I am not okay with that. So what I am okay
what
with,
if he gets 0 pins and everyone pins him 100 times?
I'll allow it. They treated this Andre Chase versus Ridge Holland thing like it was a world title match. They brought down all the lights. They brought out the person, and in this corner, and it was just a number one contendership match, which they do all the time, and they don't do all this stuff. But I guess it was for the university or whatever.
For the heart of Chase U, Alex.
Whatever. I'm so sick of the heart of Chase U and also the spleen. Any organ of Chase U, I'm just sick of it. This was really well wrestled by Andre Chase, and he made Ridge look like a absolute powerhouse. And then dumb stuff happened at the end.
Correct.
So this is not a no DQ match. It's not. When Ridge hits the rampage on Andre Chase, and then Duke Hudson comes down to the ring with Thea Hale and pulls the ref out of the ring. The ref, I guess, bonks his head, falling 3.5 feet, and is out for 5 minutes. So, you're not allowed to do that in a no DQ match. You can't just pull the referee out while he's doing a cover because he's covering your friend. Like, you're just not allowed to do that. Shouldn't he just have fallen 3 feet onto the padding, look up at Duke Hudson and go, Chase U's disqualified. Ding, ding, ding. I don't understand why we're doing that. Then we have a fight between him and Ridge. That Ridge ends up putting him through the very thin wall underneath the Raven's Nest. And then Thea Hale screams, "I hate you," at Ridge Holland. And then Milesy Rosborn does a Cope con Hero over the top rope and knocks Ridge into Thea Hale for some reason. But Milesy Rosborn doesn't do the normal babyface thing of oh my God, look what I did. I'm so affected by this. He continues to fight until he gets thrown over the top rope onto the exposed concrete. But he lands feet first, and they make sure to show the angle so you don't actually see him land. But from the way he's thrown, you can tell he absolutely lands feet first and then crumples up because they don't want him to actually kill himself. So, and then
Which is fair.
Andre Chase gets up, and they have more of the match, and the referee finally pulls himself into the thing, and then another rampage ends up doing in Chase U. This is a monkey's paw match for me because I had to hold my nose and root for Ridge Holland during this whole damn thing, but he did win. But the problem I have with this, Kate, is at the beginning, when they have Mike Rome doing the thing, this match, if Andre Chase loses, this will be the end of Chase U as we know it. Hold on, that is a major caveat. That needs to be the end of Chase U. Everybody, all the things in Chase U are put out into a pile in the middle of the parking lot and set ablaze because the university doesn't need them anymore because it's done, it's defunct, it's gone, it's over. We set charges throughout the entire building, and we do a controlled demolition, and the whole thing crumbles down to earth. That's what we do with Chase U. We don't, not as we know it. I don't like that, because what that means is that then Thea Hale can be the new person in charge of Chase U, and she'll just admit Andre Chase is a student now. That's not something I'm willing to bargain with.
Duke U. Hud U. Duke Hudson deserves all the wonderful things. This match was pretty good. Andre Chase underrated, I think, in the ring.
Yes. Harlem Bravado, the independent wrestler who came over and became Andre Chase, has always been a great wrestler. This gimmick stinks.
I'm talking about the match. It's my job over here.
I'm just letting you know.
Long live Hail You. No, I'm hoping that was just bombastic language from Mike.
I'm hoping it's a turn of phrase because I just can't.
I do. It's weird because this has been going on for so long and it still felt rushed somehow.
Yeah.
I think because it was why is Bully Ray here? There was just this got so kind of convoluted, and it doesn't really make sense why Chase U was on the line,
right?
Because there was no title on the other side of it. It was a contendership.
He volunteered. I will put Chase U on the line for a match with you, even though you beat me in an ambulance match. And Rich is like, I don't want your stupid college.
Just yeah, it's just the guy that ran the college is an idiot, which is often the case. So Good to them for being true to form. But I do feel like there should have been steps to get to that, right? We didn't have 3 weeks of Ridge Holland dodging him. They had a match.
No. Yeah.
So it's not like it got built to putting everything that has ever meant anything to Andre Chase on the line. So this was just weird. The chat saying Chase U Wolfpack.
There you go.
Chase U Law. Oh no. I think it would be good if, man, I don't. The men's side could use some heels that aren't Ethan Page right now, I guess. But not really though, because Eddie Thorpe's going heel. Wes Lee is heel. But I feel like Duke Hudson turning on Harlan Bravado would be good, or Andre Chase, Mr. Chase, whatever they're gonna call him. Because he needs to be the kind of breakout piece of this, as far as like Thea Hale is gonna be Thea Hale still. Yeah. Like the MVP guy needs to have a next step.
I really like Duke, not as much as you do. I don't think that's
nobody does
in the cards. I don't think that's in the cards. I do think there's a very good chance that he and Riley break out as a tag team, because
I'm okay with that too.
The one match I saw them wrestle as a tag team, they were great, and I'm like, why aren't we having these guys wrestle all the time as a tag team? They're excellent together. I
guess I just mean more there needs to be a payoff to that. Like, Thea Hale could just go wrestle in the women's division as she is right now. They need like a creative path to be on after all this.
Yeah. So Luis says they treated it as if it was Misawa versus Kawada for the Triple Crown in Korakuen Hall. Like, come on. They did do that. Yeah. Also, there was
one of their longest running factions at NXT. Like, I haven't loved it, but it should feel monumental to the product.
They also had an incomplete erasure of their first title reign. I know it lasted only 2 weeks, but they were the tag champ. They were like, who is the one who brought them tag gold? It was me. I did that. They didn't do that. It was me. I did that.
It's like, yes, they did though.
They were already tag champs before you ever showed up as part of that thing.
Kind of kicked
off
a lot of this.
And had a weird match with Ilya Dragunov, where you wrote him off for a month so he could go and do a thing for every January. Before that ever happened, they were already tag champs. Weird. Luis says start investing in Thea Hale stock because she will explode as a single star.
I hope she's okay. We just haven't seen her in singles matches in a long time.
I want to see her wrestle more. I mean,
me too.
Like, listen, like, I think she has a lot of potential. She's got a lot of really good points about her, but like, as a wrestler, most of what we saw her wrestle as was, let's see if I can figure out a way to lock in Kimura, because the whole thing, like the entire thing was that the Drew Gulak like taught her one move, and that was the Kimura. And what that was actually was like, I don't want to listen to Andre Chase, blah blah blah. I want to listen to this thing, and he taught her a Kimura, and that was the whole thing. Was that if I can lock in the Kimura, I win. But there wasn't a lot of other stuff that they were doing with her, so I want to see if she has more well-rounded than Kimura girl. You know, yeah.
I also have no idea if she's been on Level Up either.
They were less than a year away from overlapping Undisputed Era's entire NXT run. That would be inexcusable. Like 10 months away. Crazy. Jambridge says Ridge gave Alex the best present ever for Men's Mental Health Awareness Day. And you know what? It's true. And so for that, I will have to say thank you, Ridge Holland.
It's true.
MD Cyclo says, not everything sucks. Everyone's going to the finale on Dancing with the Stars, and Chase U is gone? This is WWE, and they hate following their own rules, so they'll find a way to reunite this dumb university. But in the meantime, never been this happy for wrestling in months, he says.
There is a great deal of joy today. In other sadness, we find our own joy.
Now, what does it say? Correction, it was not less than 10 months. He says it was less than 4 months away from surpassing the entirety of the Undisputed Era in NXT. That is crazy.
That's wild.
Okay, few more puns. Knocked Out Films says University of North Dakota Chi.
Very nice.
Louisville says Dusty Rhodes Scholars. And Bursar Brody, which might be one of the best puns we've ever gotten. Bursar Brody is really, really, really good. That's really good, Louisville. Electric Mayhem says Notre Van Dam, Carnegie Mellow Hayes, and Harley Campus. Not Harley Cameron, but Harley Campus.
Harley Campus. Very nice.
Very good. Kylie the Gamer Princess says, hi, y'all are amazing and beautiful. So are you, Kylie.
We love you.
All right, we got some jukeboxes here.
Woohoo.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. I'm gonna do one, and then you have one for Nya Girl. And then it's just our last two guys that normally do stuff.
Fantastic.
Jambeard says, in honor of the demise of Chase U, William Regal to sing In the Eyes of an Angel by Sarah McLachlan.
The Arms of an Angel.
But he wrote down In the Eyes, so I wrote that. Actually, he wrote down In the Eyes of an Angle. And that's an entirely different thing. That's Kurt Angle looking at you.
Beautiful.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep from my veins. Let me be empty, and weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here.
That was beautiful. It's on all those PCA, CPA commercials.
It's on. Yes, it is.
Go adopt dogs.
Yes, do. Okay, so. Okay, MD Cyclo says, I just want Alex to say this. From the Lorax, in honor of this terrible, disgusting, embarrassing, and terrible university, hopefully gone for good. Let it die! Let it die! Let it shrivel up and die, baby! That's what he wanted me to say, and so I did. Thank you, MD Cyclo.
Well, there you go.
All right, now Nya Girl does something. Nya Girl sings School's Out by Alice Cooper.
Well, we got no choice. All the girls and boys making all the noise because they found new toys. Literally, we can't salute you. We can't find a flag. If that don't suit you, that's a drag. But school's out for summer. School's out forever. School's literally been blown to pieces. No more pencils. No more books. No more teachers' dirty looks. Well, we got no class, we got no principals, and we got no innocence. We can't even think of a word that rhymes because school's out for summer. School's out forever. School's been blown to pieces. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Tim McFall says, I suck at puns. So Dusty sings Celebration by Kool and the Gang.
It's going to be a fun one.
Hello, it's Let's Celebrate. Hold on. Do, Yahoo! This your celebration. That's your celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on, do. Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here, Daddy. A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too, if you will. We're going to celebrate and all party with you. Come on now, celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We're going to celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on. Do.
Yeah.
That is not hot times. These are the easiest times in the world.
Those times are literally so easy. Yeah. Dusty Rhodes.
I'll be back later. Later. Sorry, hold on. One second. Somebody at the door. Bye.
Oh.
Hello.
Ricky.
From the Valley says, I need Ricky to sing Nautical Disaster by the Tragically Hip.
Are you tragically hip, Ricky?
In a nutshell.
Pretty
tragically
much.
Hip. I had this dream where I relished the fray and the screaming filled my head all day. It was as though I had been spit here, settled into the pocket of a lighthouse on some rocky socket off the coast of France, dear. One afternoon, 4,000 men died in the water here, and 500 more were thrashing about madly as parasites might in your blood. Now I was in a lifeboat designed for 10 and 10 only. Anything that systematic would get you hated. It's not a deal, not a test, nor a love of something fated. The selection was quick. The crew was picked in order, and those left in the water were kicked off our pant leg as we headed for home. Then the dream ends when the phone rings. You're doing all right, he said. It's out there most days and nights, but only a fool would complain. Anyway, Susan, if you like, our conversation is as faint as a sound in my memory as those fingernails scratching on my hull. Thank you. What a weird song.
It's a weird little song.
It's a weird song. Oh,
Yeah.
this one here. Okay. Well, Jambeard says, I kind of want to see Thea be a mini-me to Zelta.
No, I need Zelta to be out on her own for a bit at least.
Yeah.
Like she just needs to be her own force.
Because if they did that, it should probably be like Thea Hale would be like the little dog in the old Looney Tunes cartoons who's hopping around being like, what we doing today, Zelta? Come on, we're going to beat somebody up today, Zelta. And then Zelta will be like, hey, shut up. And she'd backhand her.
I think you're right.
In the Looney Tunes.
An apt comparison.
Oh, what? There's one more here for you from 2LT Photo who says, Nya girl to read Macho Man's Cream of the Crop. And then one more person will come back and that'll be it.
That'll be wonderful. Let me see if I can get it open. This was with Mean Gene Okerlund and Randy Savage.
Would you like me to read the Mean Gene Okerlund parts? Are they here?
No, I'm just going to dive in and tell you that I'm talking about all the way to the top. Yeah, unjustifiably in a position I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah. Macho Madness, yeah, has more to offer than President-elect Tony that thinks. I got cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3, but let me say it, yeah, Let me say it out loud and let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation that Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy with your decision. Yeah. I am the cream of the crop in the World Wrestling Federation, and there's literally no doubt about it. Yeah. You mean Gene Okerlund? You know that I am literally the cream of the crop. Yeah.
Well,
I have a
thank
gift.
you for that.
You're
no,
welcome.
you do. But there's one more person supposed to do things. So goodbye.
Oh, okay. Bye.
It's me again. Here, this is the last one. No, the Meet Norman says my fantasy team, Meat Sauce Mafia, got a third straight win. So as Rick James would say, it's a celebration, bitches. Now let's crank. How was NXT tonight? Brief the Linda review, please. But I know, no. I'm sorry, Meet Normus, but you want to hear some people review it? Come back earlier because we got things to do here. This is a long one that I gotta do now. Because this is very important. Alan Jeanette says, "What if Dusty Rhodes gave a commencement speech?" Now, graduates, I just wanted to say that as I look out here upon this sea of fresh young faces, and I think about the future and what it holds, oh my God, you are all so screwed. By the time you are all grandparents, the seas will be boiling and they will be up to Denver, Colorado, because I don't know if you've heard about this, but the Arctic polar ice caps are melting and there's a lot, but it is 65 degrees in Wisconsin on November the damn 19th. So you are also screwed. But before you are screwed, you will have to listen to me completely half-ass this and do what most commencement speakers do at a high school, which is to read out loud the entirety of "Oh, the Places You'll Go" by Dr. Seuss. Oh, the places you'll go. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head, baby. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the guy or girl who will decide where to go. You look up and down streets. Look them over with care. About some, you will say, I don't choose to go there, baby. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street. And you may not find any. You'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen and frequently do to people as brainy and footsie as you, if you will. And when things start to happen, don't wet it. Don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go, baby daddy. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to great heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed like Nathan Frazer. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. And
those are
that
hard times.
will be hard times.
High flyers. That sounds like some flippy-doo bullshit if we're being so for real.
That is some flippy-doo. That is some BS, is what I will say about that. All right.
Seems
I guess that's it. All right. Well,
yeah.
I guess I would. Is that everything? Hold on 1 second. I gotta go, but apparently there is some time left, and somebody else wants to say some things to Meet Normus. So you have to wait a second while this happens. It's very difficult.
Literally waiting for so long for people to hack your internet. It's so embarrassing. Get NordVPN.
All right, well, I gotta go back to Caribbean. Bye.
All right, okay.
Hello, Meet Normus. Meet Normus has asked for a rundown of the NXT because he missed the show. So I'm going to say this.
Full wig and everything.
The Clark Kent fella who went to Oregon State for some reason. He and the peppy one, who's not Thea Hale, they had a mixed tag match with Ashantee the Adonis and the Xing Xing girl. And so then they were repping Washington State for some reason. I don't know why. Washington State. I think it's pronounced Washington State. And they had a match. And then he said, "Kiss me on the cheek," and she slapped him instead. And then she turned around and got kicked in the face. That was the thing. Also, there was a brawl all night long. I don't know why Ava can't seem to keep control. Oh, and honestly, it's all her fault because she says to them, "Why don't you go out and make a name for yourselves?" And they do. And the only way they have an idea, because they're all dumb, is they say the only way we know how to do this is to fight each other in very inopportune times and places. And that's what they did. And they ruined that whole thing. Eddy Thorpe lost and decided he shouldn't have lost. So then he asked Ava to reverse the decision, which she can't do that because everyone knows the referee's decision is final.
This is just like that time we were at the mall and Sharon was trying to fight you over the Cinnabon right outside the Sears. Right outside.
Can't do it.
It was the same thing. Throwing down, trying to throw hands about the Cinnabon.
Don't even try me. So then Jada Parker, Steph Vaquer had a fantastic match. Wonderful.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Bombs being thrown back and forth like it was WW2. Then we had the Lola girl who got hit with a brick a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the Lola
She decided that the totally legal brick hit was apparently, I don't know, beyond
over the line.
So
over the line.
I'm gonna stand here at the bottom of the ramp, and you, Jada Parker, because you're a dum-dum, you'll lose the match because of this. Because we need to continue our feud into the next millennium for some reason. Kalani has volunteered to lose to Julia next week. That's a thing. The Zelta, she beat up on the Ren Sinclair, so that was a thing. But the Zelta and the Charlie Dempsey had a stare down, so hopefully we get that for the Heritage Cup. What else happened? The Chase U lost. The Chase U is gone.
You
it's
lost.
No more.
They're no longer a university. Even though they were never really a university, but they're really no longer a university now.
Unaccredited.
Discredited, I think, right?
No,
they were credited.
Unaccredited. I believe they were accredited. Now they're unaccredited. Obviously, this is the way it works. So I honestly like this. Do you like my bouffant hairdo now?
It looks fantastic.
To go with the beehive. Isn't it?
Who did you?
Nice for me?
Did you see? Who did you see for this? They did a much better job than that Maggie. That Maggie was terrible last time we went. She was awful.
Maggie was terrible.
It's awful.
I went to Brianna.
Oh, we love Brianna. She's fantastic.
Brianna.
She's always got the fun nails. She's got those fun nails. Did you see?
She does. She has fun nails and everything. She told me I should get the nails done too, and I was like, "That's a little bit above my pay grade. I'm sorry, there, sweetheart." The Brianna, she can make a hairdryer do everything but sit up and bark. I swear to God, it's fantastic. She's like a sorceress with that thing there. She's like, and it's amazing, fantastic.
She's better. She's the best that they've got. Best in all of Queens.
She's the best in all the Queens. I keep telling you, Brianna, you're the best in all the Queens. She's like, "Oh, stop!" And I'm like, "No, you are.
No, she is.
Whatever they are paying you here, they should double it. Of course, that means I will only give you a $4 tip, but it doesn't matter.
Of course.
I mean, like, I'm not breaking the bank over here.
No, you shouldn't have to pay her more. They need to pay her more.
They should pay her more. They should pay her
because I go to the grocery store
now. It's
now.
not on me to pay her a living wage. It's not on me to pay her a living wage.
No.
No.
Have you seen the cost of a gallon of milk these days? Absolutely not. Not on me.
See the cost of a dozen eggs? It's crazy. It's tragic.
Ridiculous.
Although I think I might be giving you one for your money with the bangs here. So anyway, we're almost done here. So I'm gonna go ahead and say the thing that we're supposed to say at the end of every episode. Keep cool, gabagools.
Oh no.